Hello and welcome to the Next Gen Racing YouTube channel for our weekend preview. A brand new look to the channel. We've both got two mics, which is pretty handy. Brand new thumbnail to our videos, and Jack and I are going to have some really good looks to our remote videos as well. So when we're filming, via Skype that we usually tend to do, usually around the winter time, isn't it? But there'll be a much better look with better video quality and better sound quality as well. So we look forward to bringing you better quality content moving forward. This week we're going to be looking at Sandown, Haydock, and we'll also be looking at the Prix de Saint-Cloud in France on Sunday, which looks an absolute belter. First of all, Jack, quickly, how are things? I know you've been in Madeira earlier in this week, and it's good to be refreshed now, and dare I say it, Goodwood's incoming, so you're looking forward to that.
Yeah, goodness me, I cannot wait for Goodwood. Goodness me, yeah, it was nice to get away for a few days out of the racing bubble for a little bit, which is odd. You feel like you missed so much, albeit for what, you're only away for 3 days, but yeah, looking forward to this weekend.
Sometimes you need that little bit of break from racing, just occasionally, because there's so much that goes through your head daily. But yeah, always good to have a nice little holiday. I've just got back from Ireland as well. Great to be out at Jessica Harrington's yard, Coolmore. If you did see any of the content on my Twitter, honestly, it was fabulous at Coolmore. What an experience that is. If you ever get the opportunity to go, make sure you do it. Right, let's kick things off with the preview then. We'll start off with Sandown, and the first race we're going to look at is the Coral Charge, which is a 5 furlong Group 3, and Rasil is your 3-1 favourite, along with Mitbahi, who's also 3-1. Equilateral is 6-1, Nymphadora 15-2, Arecibo and Method are both 9s, and double figures bar those. Now these sprints at Sandown, Jack, they always tend to be fairly open. We've got a good little open contest to kick things off. Who are you going to be siding with here?
I don't really want to overcomplicate this one. I have a tendency to do that, as you well know, especially in these tricky little sprints. But I thought Mitbahi won the Scurry Stakes in very good style last time out. He came down the outside and brushed past, and I thought he had plenty in hand that day as well. 4 of the last 12 winners actually came from the Scurry Stakes. 3 of those won. 10 of the last 12 winners are 3 or 4. You've got Razel in there, who's of course a 5-year-old, and Equilateral, who's a 7-year-old. I think Equilateral is probably the second best. Ran a good race in the King's Stand. Gives plenty of weight away today. Obviously, I think Mitbahi for Roger Varian, just that classic progressive 3-year-old, and I think he's probably going to win.
Okay, you mentioned the second best there. That's the one that I actually like in here. I thought Equilateral was potentially the wrong price in here at 6-1. Like you say, ran a good 5th in the King's Stand behind Nature Strip. We know that Nature Strip romped up in that race, but look, was ahead of smart sprinters such as King's Lynn, Man of Promise, and was only half length behind Moon Easter. Now, if she'd probably come over, she'd probably be a 2-1, maybe 7-4 favourite in this race. I agree with you. I thought Mitbahi was very impressive. I think that Mitbahi is the one to beat. But I just thought, looking at Equilateral's form, been running well, won a Group 2 over 5 furlongs in Maidan. All about speed, ran in decent top-level sprints last season. I just think it's an each-way bet to nothing in here, around 6-1. I don't think it's the worst price in the world. So I'll be with Equilateral at 6-1 and Jack Mitbahi at 3-1 in the Coral Charge. Right, on to the next then. This is the Coral Distaff, a listed race over a mile for the fillies. Sandringham Stakes winner Heredia is 11-8 favourite. Grand Dame 7-2. Oscar 11-2. Fast Attack 6-1. And then a big jump to 12-1 and bigger for the rest of the field. Now, talk about a group horse and a handicap. Heredia probably is the one in here. Was mightily impressive at Ascot. And look, the fact that she was keen, didn't have the best of luck in running, I just think that potentially she could be a very, very special filly for the Hannon team. Are you probably in agreement here?
Yeah, 100%. I do think it's going to be the Heredia show. I thought Sean Levy's ride on board her was probably the most confident of the week that we saw in the Sandringham. I mean, as you said, she didn't really get the best of luck in running. She also didn't on her penultimate start. But look, I think she oozed class. Yeah, she hung left and Zambak was closing at the line. If she goes straight, I think she wins this. I think she's going to probably win a group race this year. The only interesting one I thought was Fast Attack in there, who won at Newmarket last year, finished 5th in the German 1,000 guineas this year. Got a little bit unlucky in running. I think the Doyler on board will be a benefit to her, but I think it's probably going to be the Heredia show.
Yeah, potentially a Fast Attack with that Maljoom form. Maljoom potentially should have been winning at Royal Ascot. Maybe the German Guineas form isn't too bad at all. I'm going to be with Heredia here. I do think the Grand Dame, I was a bit disappointed because I saw that horse win in April on Royal Ascot Trials Day, and I thought that horse could be quite smart, but the form really hasn't worked out. I'm not sure Oskil is good enough to beat Heredia. I think that Hannon genuinely has a really, really smart filly on his hands here, and I'm quite excited by her, and I'm sure she'll step into group company after this. So that will be the selection for myself and Jack. Let's go on to the big one then, coming from Sandown. This is the Coral Eclipse, And even though we now only have 6 runners, this still is a very good quality field. French Derby winner Verdani's your 13-8 favourite. Second in the 2000 Guineas at Newmarket and winner of the Irish 2000 Guineas Native Trail is 100-30. Jack couldn't stop talking about this one. This is Brigadier Gerard winner and Prince of Wales Stakes second. Bay Bridge is 4-1. Former French Derby winner, Shima Classic winner, Saudi Cup winner and Judgment winner Mishrif is 8-1. Recent winner of the Tattersall's Gold Cup at the Curragh, Alan Kerr's 9-1. Then 2-time Dubai Turf winner and former Prince of Wales Stakes winner Lord North is 22-1. Wowza, Jack, what a field this is. Let's work our way through the field quickly. We'll start from the bottom, work our way up. Start with Lord North. Is he past it now? Do we think there's more improving horses potentially around him? And do we think the blindfold excuse last time probably didn't make too much of a difference?
I think you're right, Angron, there. I think he is probably a little bit past it. I mean, even when he won the Dubai Turf last time out, I mean, with the exception of Saffron Beach, it doesn't look like the greatest bit of form. I think the second finished 9th in a Grade 1 over in Japan next time out. So I think Lord North, yes, of course, he lost many lengths at the start, but we still didn't see anything like the turn of foot that we did in the Prince of Wales when he won it. So I do think he is probably a little bit behind it now.
Okay, do you think he's slightly overpriced at all at 22? Do you think he could be slightly shorter?
With just the 6 runners, I think you're probably either going on the nose or not at all. So probably not an each way prospect for me.
Okay, fine. Alan Kerr, a gutsy horse for sure. Look, he won what looked like a very decent Tattersall's Gold Cup last time out. Obviously, State of Rest has come out and showed how good he is again at Royal Ascot. Surely there's not actually, anything really to discount him here. Maybe he's one of the bigger price runners in here.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, he got his day in the sun finally in the Tattersall's Gold Cup. I know the Haggis team were scratching their head thinking, is he a mile and a half? Is he better over 10 furlongs? I think they've now got it solidified. He is better over 10 furlongs. Like, he's tough, he's straightforward. He was as game as anything, and he thrives over 10 furlongs. And look, he has a great chance.
He does, yeah, I completely agree with you there. Mishrif, wow, I mean, if you look at his CV and if he put in his Judgment run from last year, then look, he'd obviously probably be tough to beat in this, but look, he faced St Mark's Basilica last year in the Coral Eclipse, and we know what happened there, and it looks like he could be undone by potentially another French Derby winner.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, as you say, we got the improving 3-year-olds here. Bay Bridge, I still think, is improving as well. If he puts in his Judgment run, as we saw, he absolutely dismissed Alan Kerr by 6 lengths that day, so he's going to be pretty tough to beat, but I think that's a big ask.
Yeah, no, it's going to be very tough, and he keeps coming up against these French Derby winners. So, yeah, we'll see whether he can do it this year. Let's go on to Bay Bridge then, a horse that you really like, a typical Sir Michael Stout improver. Are we looking at a horse who, we know he's very impressive in the Brigadier Gerard, but was he just undone by an incredible ride by Shane Cross at Royal Ascot?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, State of Rest was allowed to set the early fractions. I think he was undone by that. Ryan Moore was probably a little bit too far back in the field when he watched it back, and it'd be interesting to see how he goes here. He is my boy. He is improving. I think he has a good chance.
Okay, right now moving towards the top 2 in the market. Native Trail. Look, it's a step up in trip. Everyone seems quite excited about this. Is it simply with him a worry of how well he could get this 10 furlong trip?
Yeah, I think you're spot on there. I mean, I don't think his breeding suggests he's going to stay 10 furlongs, but I think he gallops like a 10 furlong horse, so it'd be interesting to see it. I think he was very workmanlike in the Irish 2000 Guineas, but I mean, he did the best of his work late on, and again, very exciting stepping up in trip.
You know he's going to be one of the first off the bridle, but you know he's going to pull out quite a lot, you'd think, when under pressure. Now let's move on to the favourite, Verdani. Look, the text I sent you after he won the Jockey Club was that he wins the lot. His turn of foot over 10 furlongs was just exceptional. You don't see many performances like that over 10 furlongs, and I just think that they're not going to actually step him up again this year. I think they'll keep him at 10. I think the arc will be for the following year. I think the plan will be to go from this, then probably the Irish Champion Stakes, then hopefully the Kipco British Champion Stakes. Jack, am I mad to say that he's probably the best 3-year-old colt out there right now?
Oof.
With Caribus, I wasn't too impressed by Caribus. I don't know about you.
I'd still probably put Desert Crown above the lot, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
You watched Westover go and frank that form in the Irish Derby. I think probably you'd put Desert Crown on top. Verdini was very impressive, don't get me wrong, but Modern Games definitely doesn't stay a mile and a half. It'd be interesting to see what he did actually beat that day, but then again, he was very classy in the Group 3 at Shanty on his penultimate outing on good ground, so I don't think the ground will be any issue as well. And goodness me, Christophe Soumillon is probably licking his lips coming over.
Yeah, no, I mean, it'd be a shame because I don't think we will see Verdani versus Desert Crown this year, because I think one will go for the Arc and one will go for a Champion Stakes. But if they both turned up in the Champion Stakes, God, what a race that is going to be, especially if we get good going on that weekend in October. So, quickly, your selection for the race, who are you going to be with in the Coral Eclipse?
You're going to hate me. I am going to be with Bay Bridge. I still think he's an improving 4-year-old. Yes, he has to give the 3-year-olds £10, but I thought he galloped to the line in the Prince of Wales last time out. They finished at 109% finishing speed. I think Ryan Moore, if I'm being honest, left him absolutely no chance that day. He tried to try and pick up State of Rest when he set the fractions absolutely perfectly and then showed a good turn of foot as well. I thought, to be fair, you could actually upgrade Bay Bridge's performance from finishing second. I think, if anything, he wants a mile and a half rather than a quick run mile and a quarter. So hopefully there's a good clip here. I think Richard Kingscote on board, of course, has done it in the big light for Sir Michael Stout this year. He was very impressive in the Brigadier Girard over this course and distance. Hopefully he'll be able to continue his ascendancy and vindicate what I think, hopefully.
Okay, yeah, Bay Bridge potentially could be very classy. And look, you know, he has the course form as well, which can be very key here. I'm going to be so boring, and I am going to side with the favourite, Verdani. I'm just so excited about this horse. I really am. I think that he's an absolute star. I wouldn't be worried about him coming over to the UK. I've just got a feeling he has all the class. I don't think he actually has to be right on top of his game to beat some of these. I mean, Native Trail is definitely the worry. He could really be anything over 10 furlongs, but we're looking at horses in here that Native Trail's facing who have already proved it over further. So I'm going to be with Verdani. I know a lot of people out there probably will be as well. Let us know down in the comments. I think that's the one this week. Let us know down in the comments who you're going to be with in the big one, the Coral Eclipse. Be intrigued to know your reasonings behind your selections as well. So get those down in the comments. So Verdani for myself and Bay Bridge for Jack in the Coral Eclipse. Right, on to Haydock now. Let's start off with the Lancashire Oaks. This is a Group 2 over a mile and a half, obviously for the fillies and mares. Free Wind is your 5-2 favourite. Ashada, last year's fillies and mares stakes winner at Ascot, 7-2. Sealer Rossa, 11-2. Kawida, 13-2. Stay Alert, 8-1. Believe in Love, 11-1. Invite, 14-1. And then we've got Nell quickly at 16-1. Now, I'll start here. I think the Free Wind will probably end up going and taking this. I'm not sure that the form of the rest of the runners is overly strong. I mean, we look back at that run at Doncaster at the back end of last year. I just can't get that out of my head with Free Wind. It was so impressive, wasn't it? I remember just tweets and videos going everywhere of that performance, and I was really, really impressed. I think Ashada, yes, finished ahead of Albaflora and Snowfall, like I said, in the fillies and mares at Champions Day last season. Maybe Connections would have been happy with the fifth last time out of Newbury. It'd be interesting to see how much she comes on for that. I'm sure that she'll be targeted probably for the same race that she won last year in October. And I've got a feeling that one at a price, maybe Invite in here, could be absolutely anything. Now, we haven't seen the horse since May last year and hadn't really done overly much last year. But it's just the fact that they've kept this horse going and they've entered it in this race as the first race is very interesting. They obviously think plenty of this horse, and I've got a feeling that they've got a big season planned with her, and she may just outrun her odds at 14-1. I understand why she's 14-1. Look, on the form, she probably is a 14-1 shot, but the fact they've kept her in training and put her straight into a Group 2, I find absolutely fascinating for the boarding team, who are going great guns this season. So I am going to be with Free Wind, but I'll be looking forward to seeing how Invite runs in the Lancashire Oaks. Who about yourself, Jack?
If it does stay 8 runners, I'll probably be having a pretty good bet each way on Kawida for the Ed Walker team. Now, of course, finished 5th in the Oaks last time out. They finished, I think it was 119% finishing speed. It turned into an absolute sprint, but I think the further she goes, the better she's going to get. That was the first run over a mile and a half, and she stayed on in good style down the near rail, which I don't think was exactly where you wanted to be on the day. She was third on her penultimate outing, but I think the further she goes, the better she's going to get. If it is a truly run mile and a half, I can't not see her being in the frame, so I think 13-2 is too big a price.
Okay, about the Oaks third, yeah, maybe potentially. Are you worried about the Oaks form at all at the moment with regards to how some of the horses are running?
I think it's too early to quash any form. It'll be interesting to see how they go on. Of course, Emily Upjohn hasn't come out Tuesday. Interesting, of course. It was pretty disappointing in the Irish Derby, but look, that was still a quick turnaround in my opinion, so it'll be interesting to see how she goes. Okay, yeah, maybe one to keep an eye on will be Kawida in the Lancashire Oaks. Now let's move on to the big handicap we'll preview this week. We'll always preview a handicap if we can on the weekend previews. This is the Old Newton Cup. This is 1.5 miles, a Class 2 handicap, and Carsey is your 7-4 favourite, best price in here. Trawlerman is 8-1. Get Shirty, the Ascot winner, 10-1. Liverpool Knight 10-1. Brentford Hope and Something Enticing 12-1, 16-1. Bar those. I mean, probably an easy leading question for me here, Jack. Is this your group horse in a handicap? Oh, it's hard to think otherwise, isn't it? I mean, it's the same old story, isn't it, for William Haggis and Sheikh Ahmed Al Maktoum? I mean, for in these silks, we see it time and time again. We saw it with Ilarab. We've seen it with so many different horses. And I think this is probably the next one. Look, 7-4. No one's going to be backing at 7-4, but I do think he just goes and wins. I'm probably not going to take anything each way because I think they're going to be fighting for second and third place, but I think Gassie's just going to be too good.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think the price is far too short in these big field handicaps, especially something like the Old Newton Cup. Obviously, the Ebor is on the mind for this horse. They're sure this horse will definitely get further, and I'm pretty confident in that as well. But I will actually play something each way if you get those extra places. I think something enticing each way could potentially be the one again for Balding. I thought she was, she was beaten in the Tapster Stakes at Goodwood behind Third Realm. She's been kept on the mark of 95. That was her official rating when she ran at Goodwood. I just think she could be a little bit better than that. She's got the mighty Davy Probert on board. I think he is just a jockey every season, just seems to get better and better. Really like him as a jockey. But look, I think you're right, we are playing for places, but she'd be my idea of an each way angle in here. If you do get those extra places, I think 12 to 1 potentially isn't that bad a price. So, yeah, Jack won't be playing the race. He thinks that Garcia should be the one winning this, but it won't be a play for him. And I'm in agreement. I think Garcia should be winning this, but something enticing will be my each way angle in the Old Newton Cup at Haydock. Right, let's go on to the Sunday now. We have to preview this race because it looks so good and it's a big Group 1. This is the Grand Prix de Saint-Cloud, obviously coming from Saint-Cloud on Sunday. 1.5 miles, Group 1. Soft is the current going description over there in France. Hurricane Lane is your 6-4 favourite. Alpinista is 5 to 1. Mare Australia is 7 to 1. Dubai Honour 8 to 1. High Definition 10 to 1 and 14 to 1. Bar these. Jack, soft ground back in France. Surely this is Hurricane Lane's to lose here, yeah?
Yeah, 100%. I think, of course, they're working back from the arc, and I don't think they were too upset with his running the Hardwick last time out. It was always going to be the plan. He didn't have a setback like Adayar has had. I think he's probably going to win. Is he a little short? Yes, he is. Will I be opposing with Kawida? Yes, I will. I mean, her form is just sensational, isn't it? If you look at the group Grade 1 she won over in France, beating Torquata Tasso, and she just she's so workwoman-like, and she battles and battles and battles, and of course, I do think she is the price at 5 to 1. Is Hurricane Lane going to prove too good? Yes, I will be looking probably with a without market with Alpinista. Of course, you've got so many good runners in there. You've got the likes of Dubai Honour, who was very disappointing last time out. Mare Australis, I mean, look at her, goodness me. And High Definition, of course, as well. But Hurricane Lane, look, at 6 to 4. He's probably going to win, but I'll hopefully be taking Alpinista without the favourite.
Okay, so you're potentially going to take on Hurricane Lane with a mare, and I think that Hurricane Lane is going to be tough to beat, but I will be taking the horse on with Mare Australia, who you've mentioned just a minute ago. I think this horse is fascinating over 1.5 miles again. She's run twice over this trip and has won both times. I think she's going to outrun her odds at 7 to 1 on Sunday, and I'm going to do it now because then we can come back and we can clip this up prior to the Arc de Triomphe. I'm going to put her up at 33 to 1 for the Qatar Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe now, because I genuinely think that she could be quite smart over this trip. I think she's just over 10 furlongs. She's getting beaten by speedier horses. I think she's a bit of a plodder. If she gets to the Arc and it's soft ground, I've just got a feeling she's going to be one of those that ends up staying on. But yeah, Mare Australia for the Andre Fabre team, and what looks like potentially an open arc at this moment in time. I've got a feeling that 33 to 1's far too big. Look, I'd love to see Hurricane Lane bounce back. Everyone thinks that he's potentially going to be kind of the older horse going into the arc, who's going to be one of the more favoured contenders. But yeah, look, I think Mare Australia, potentially I'll go with Jack, and I'll go without Hurricane Lane market here for that horse there. So Jack and I battling each other out with the mares in the Grand Prix de Saint-Cloud. Let's get our naps and next best then for the weekend. Obviously, they don't have to come from the races that we've previewed. Jack, what's your next best this week?
My next best is going to be Kawida each way in the Lancashire Oaks, providing there's 8 runners.
Okay, fine. My next best, I am going to go with Mare Australia. I'll go each way, Mare Australia. I won't go without the favourite. I'll go each way because we're probably going to get the 3 places there in that race there. And your nap this week, Jack?
My nap this week is going to be Mitbahi in the Coral Charge at 3 to 1.
Okay, and my nap is going to be very boring, but I'm going to be with Verdani in the Coral Eclipse. So there we go. You can see those on screen now, our selections for this week. And look, we're going to be back next week. We're actually going to have a special video for you next week. We're going to have our Goodwood anti-post video where we'll each have a selection anti-post for the Goodwood Cup, the Sussex, the Nassau, the King George Qatar Stakes, and we're even going to, I'm putting pressure, we're even going to try and find an anti-post one for the Stewards Cup on the Saturday. Okay. So yeah, look, 5 races, 5 days of the Goodwood Festival, the big races on each day. Hopefully we'll be able to find you potentially some anti-post winners, maybe like a Lucky 31 or a Canadian each, and see how we both get on when we do arrive there in I think it's only 4 weeks' time. Very exciting. We are to confirm where we're going to be doing our Goodwood preview. That we might be able to confirm that actually next week. So we will let you know on the show. But yeah, look, thanks very much for watching. Like I say, let us know who's going to win the Coral Eclipse down in the comments. Do subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you again next week with our Goodwood anti-post video. Thanks for watching.